There is a place that no map has ever found, a library that has never appeared in history, yet somehow has existed longer than civilization itself. It has no doors until it chooses to open one, no path until it decides someone is worthy to walk it. Every century, it calls a single name, not the strongest, not the wisest, only the one person whose hunger for the truth is greater than their fear of it. Inside this library, there are no novels, no history books, and no scriptures. Every book belongs to a living person. Every page writes itself as that person breathes. Every heartbeat becomes another sentence. Every choice becomes another paragraph. And the final page is already waiting. 3 people found this place before tonight. The first destroyed his own eyes after reading the last page. The second burned herself alive trying to erase a single sentence. The third disappeared without leaving a single footprint behind. Some believe he escaped. Others believe he is still wandering between the shelves, listening to books whisper the futures of strangers. But every story in this library begins the same way, with someone believing they can change what has already been written. Tonight, someone will make that mistake again. Nobody believed Elara when she said strange things had been happening around her since childhood. She wasn't someone who chased ghost stories or urban legends. She studied ancient literature because she believed every myth was born from a forgotten truth, and every impossible story had once happened to someone who survived long enough to tell it. Yet even she struggled to explain the impossible, events that had followed her for almost 20 years. It began with dreams that always came true, not dramatic visions of disasters or miracles, but ordinary moments, conversations she hadn't yet had, faces she hadn't yet met, streets she had never visited. She would wake up believing they were only dreams, only to live through every detail days or weeks later. At first, she called them coincidences. Later, she stopped trying to explain them altogether. Her grandmother was the only person who never dismissed them. Every time Elara described another dream, the old woman's smile disappeared a little more. On the night before she died, she held Elara's hand with surprising strength and whispered something that haunted her for years. If a library ever learns your name, run. Before Elara could ask what she meant, her grandmother took her final breath. Years passed. Life moved on. University replaced childhood memories, and research replaced imagination. Then one rainy afternoon, while searching through a forgotten second-hand bookstore hidden beneath an old railway bridge, Elara found a black leather book with no title, no author's name, and no publisher. The shop owner refused to take money for it. "You can keep it," the old man muttered without looking at her. "It has already been paid for." Those words stayed with her all the way home. That evening she placed the book on her desk and tried to open it. Nothing happened. Every page was completely blank. She laughed at herself for expecting something mysterious. She closed the book and went to sleep. At exactly 3:17 in the morning, she woke to the sound of pages turning. The book was lying open by itself. No wind, no open windows, just the slow, steady sound of paper moving. She walked toward it carefully. Words were appearing on the blank page, one sentence at a time, written by an invisible hand. You have ignored our invitations for 19 years. A second sentence appeared. Curiosity always arrives before courage. Then another. Come before the third moon of autumn. We cannot wait forever. The writing stopped. When Elara touched the page, the ink felt warm. She slammed the book shut. The following morning, every word had disappeared again. The pages were blank. For weeks, she tried convincing herself that exhaustion had caused hallucinations, until another impossible discovery shattered that explanation. While translating the diary of a sailor lost in the winter of 1609, she found a single unfinished paragraph hidden between water-damaged pages. There exists a valley where every life is written before it is lived. I escaped with my body, but not with my future. God forgive the one who reads the final page of his own book. The final sentence ended abruptly. The remaining pages were missing. Her heartbeat quickened. The wording was almost identical to the message she had seen inside the black book. Days later, while exploring the ruins of an abandoned monastery high in the mountains, she noticed a strange symbol carved into a broken stone pillar. It looked ancient, almost impossible to recognize beneath centuries of weathering. Until she returned home, the exact same symbol had appeared on the inside cover of the black book. It had not been there before. This time, when she opened it, the pages were no longer blank. A detailed map slowly drew itself across the paper. Mountains emerged first, then rivers, then forests. Finally, a narrow path leading toward a valley that existed on no modern map. At the bottom of the page, one final sentence wrote itself. Do not arrive after sunset. The keeper dislikes late visitors. For the first time in her life, Elara considered destroying the book. She carried it to her fireplace. The flames surrounded the leather cover. Minutes passed. The paper refused to burn. Instead, the fire turned black. The room became unnaturally cold, and from somewhere inside the pages, she heard someone whisper her name. Not once, not twice, but dozens of voices, all speaking together, all welcoming her home. Elara knew she should walk away. She knew every logical part of her mind was screaming for her to forget everything she had seen. Instead, 3 days later, she packed a single backpack, followed the impossible map into the mountains, and disappeared into a valley that had never existed on any satellite image, any historical record, or any map ever drawn by human hands. By sunset, she was standing before a stone building that looked impossibly ordinary, and somehow, she already knew it had been waiting for her long before she was born. Inside was not a building. It was an endless library, shelves stretched beyond sight into complete darkness. Thousands of ancient books moved by themselves. Some opened without being touched, while fresh black ink quietly wrote across their pages. Then a voice echoed through the silence. You finally came. An impossibly old man stepped from between the shelves. His coat was stained with black ink, and although his face looked centuries old, his eyes seemed strangely young. I am the keeper, he said. I have been waiting for you. Before Elara could ask a single question, the keeper led her through the endless aisles until they entered a circular chamber. At its center rested a single black book upon a stone pedestal. Its cover carried only one name, Elara. Her hands trembled. Every person who has ever lived has a book here, the keeper explained. These books do not predict the future. They record the only future that will happen. Elara wanted to leave, but curiosity was stronger than fear. She opened a book. The first pages described every memory of her childhood with impossible accuracy. Every conversation, every dream, every loss was written exactly as it had happened. Then she reached the final chapter. The remaining pages were blank until words slowly began writing themselves before her eyes. The one who reads the ending becomes the one who must write the next beginning. The library suddenly shook. Books flew from the shelves. Black ink flowed across the stone floor like living rivers. The keeper looked terrified for the first time. "You were never invited to read your story," he whispered. "You were invited to continue it." A hidden doorway opened at the far end of the library. Beyond it stood an ancient chamber unlike anything Elara had ever imagined. At its center rested an enormous chained book glowing with silver light. Across its cover was carved a single word, Architect. The keeper slowly lowered his head. "For centuries," he said, "I believed the architect was a person, but I was wrong. The chains around the giant book broke apart by themselves. Golden light filled the chamber. The pages opened. Instead of words, they reflected Elara's face. At that moment, every memory returned. The dreams, the mysterious book, her grandmother's warning, the impossible map. None of them had been accidents. They had all been leading her here. The keeper smiled sadly. "You are not the next visitor. You are the next architect." The golden quill floated into Elara's hand. Across the endless library, millions of books opened at the same time. Fresh ink began writing inside every page. The old keeper slowly faded into dust. Finally freed from the duty he had carried for countless centuries, Elara looked once more toward the endless shelves. She understood the truth at last. The library had never been collecting human stories. It had been waiting for someone to write the next chapter of them all. As she placed the golden quill onto the ancient page, the first sentence appeared. "Every ending becomes the beginning of another story." And somewhere, in an ordinary second-hand bookstore, a new black book appeared on an old wooden shelf, waiting patiently for its next reader.